Coming up on this edition of Circle Back.
The ostentatious gluttony of people in this country is insane. I mean, why do we need that many fucking TVs? I mean, seriously.
Like, you are, in the grand scheme of things, in that game, a nobody, and in that arena, like, fuck off.
I'm with Blez and Jacob. I mean, I should be on the $10.
What the fuck, man?
First, I thought he was serious. I'm leaning towards this is a bit.
I don't think so.
No way.
Not a bit.
All right.
There's no way.
No
Let's
way.
say
This is
let's
too
say
bad
it's not
to
a
be
bit.
Flub has to retire. Don't think I've ever seen a worse NBA better. Disclaimer. The content presented in this show is intended for entertainment purposes only. All opinions expressed are those of the host and do not necessarily reflect the views or opinions of any individuals or organizations mentioned. Statements made about public figures or entities are based on publicly available information and are not intended to harm or defame any person or business. This show relies on fair use of social media posts, which are presented in good faith for the purpose of commentary and criticism. Viewers and listeners are advised to form their own opinions. Circle back here on the Circles Off channel. It's part of the Hammer Betting Network, and it's presented, as always, by Underdog. This is the show where we cover the latest and greatest stories from gambling Twitter. Over the last few days, once again, we had some great stories, some new stories that have come up, some stories that have extended into our Friday show here today. We've got myself, Jacob Gramegna, your host, as always, on the show. We have Jeff Nadu in the top right corner of the screen. We have Chris Dierkes at FlupNoLide. Bottom left, the one-time contest winner, as we see, our only contest winner here. But we also have a special guest today replacing Kanish, which means we were able to start on time today. We have Alex Moretto joining us, director of content here at the Hammer, but also the host of our NHL content over at the Edgework channel. Moretto, how you feeling ahead of this one? How you feel stepping in for Kanish?
Yeah, I mean, small shoes to fill, so I don't feel much pressure here. If I was stepping in for one of the other guys, might have been a little bit more pressure, but I feel okay. I hear Kanish is away doing some investigative journalism against McDonald's. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's what I've heard so far.
I can't wait to hear back from him and report on that. And a reminder for today's show, as much as we have some great content coming to you guys throughout the show, stick around to the end of the show. We have an announcement coming up that you're going to want to hear. All right, guys, let's jump into the first topic on the show today. One coming from John Murges in the topic of WagerTalk. And it all kind of stemmed from this original post here from TR Handicap Tracker at TR_tracker. And what this account does is they take the publicly displayed picks from creators, in this case for WagerTalk, and they track them to give a bit more transparency, I would say. Doesn't seem to be anything malicious about this, just simply going through all of the picks here and showcasing how each of the people involved are doing. WagerTalk, if you don't know, a company that does sports betting content. They do videos, podcasts, educational stuff, give out picks and things of that nature here. As we can see from what we have on the post here, a fluctuation of results. Looks like about 40% or so of the creators are in the profit, but this wasn't really the story. The story started here from at Murges John, who says, before the NFL season, I'll expose the story behind WagerTalk from its inception to its present-day business strategy. Here's an article regarding Sean Alvarez at SmoothTurn2, handicapper/killer. He served prison time for the man's death, and he posted an article here. Again, by the way, just I'm reading off exactly what's being said here from this post, and it showcases an article here where there was somebody was a pedestrian was hit in a car accident, and I guess John is alluding that it's somebody involved with WagerTalk. But it goes further. That post got a lot of impressions, 151,000 views when I pulled it for the show today, and then quote tweeted by saying 17,000 impressions, now much more than that. I'm not surprised by people being interested in what my 4 years of research uncovered concerning WagerTalk.com. I've been contacted by former agents that got customers for Kelly in Vegas and her boyfriend Brett's illegal sportsbook operation. And then he looped you in, Nadu. He said, personally, I have a great relationship with Nadu. That's why I want him to host Spaces on July 20th. Many of you have never seen this interview with me, and he had posted an interview with you and himself. So Nadu, first of all, could you like shed some light on this situation and what's going on here? If you have anything to share, and also maybe discuss like why the Spaces is coming a month from now and not something that's more immediate.
Well, a couple of things here. There's obviously been a long-standing issue between him and Kelly in Vegas, and Kelly and Vegas's boyfriend or husband, Brett. I think it's his fiance. I'll be real honest. I never discussed a date with John. That date is a surprise to me. He had mentioned he wanted to do it. I told him I'm willing to do it. I will also make it clear, if I did it with John, I would also have something with Kelly if she's willing to speak on it. I'm going to tell you right now, my guess is this will never happen. The issue that John has here is, if I could say this eloquently, John has his own issues in the past. John was a bookmaker for the Chicago outfit. Okay. Very powerful people. Okay. It was bringing up people's past. I mean, if he's going to do it to others, he's got to do it to himself. I did admit that I will take a look at this and I will possibly host a space. But again, I need to look more deeper into it. He has a problem with Brett and with Kelly. Now, he's also brought up illegal bookmaking. I have no idea if that's going on. My guess is it's not. We also, from what I understand, John has said some things that have been a little questionable in the past that have also needed to be maybe looked into. My guess is this won't happen just because John legally won't be able to talk about it. I think there's going to be some slinging on both sides by both of these people. But other than that, I don't know that much about it. I think it's John's axe to grind, and he's taken it a little far.
Nadu, you said legally he can't speak on it. Is there a lawsuit pending right now? Or
I'm guessing at some point certain things are going to go on here, because I think you're bordering along the lines of kind of slanderous type discussion here, right? Mm-hmm. I think John has went a little far with it. Now, in terms of calling out people that are not winning money for a company, a lot of those numbers are rough. And when we look at the profit, 20% of those are under $1,000 profit for the whole year. So it's just most of the cappers have not been particularly profitable. Now, going into illegal, I don't know anything about that. Bringing up people's past, 2011, that's 14 years ago, while a very sad crime, is it something we shouldn't give another person a chance for because of a mistake they made 14 years ago, especially with John, who has his own things that he's done.
Anything from you, Moretto, you want to add on this? What did you make of this when you first saw it?
Yeah, the Sean Alvarez DUI stuff, that kind of really rubbed me the wrong way. Like, I hate when people do that shit and dredge up stuff like that just to try and make some like grand blanket statement about a person's character. Like what we know as in terms of like facts from that article, I read that article quickly, like struck and killed a 71-year-old man who was a pedestrian and was jailed under the suspicion of a DUI. But like he stuck around at the scene. He admitted immediately that he was the one driving the car. Like, I don't know if charges were made in this, like nothing was said about what actually came of it or whatnot, but like regardless, they made a mistake many years ago. Kind of bring that up now and like, you know, dragging through the mud seems pretty greasy. Like that's obviously something he has, I'd imagine and hope that he has some remorse and did learn from it, but like to post it in this context is just kind of the nutlow to me. In terms of the WagerTalk stuff, honestly, like it's kind of hard to comment until we know what he's got on them. I don't know what this kind of smoking gun is. Like, if it's just that they lose people a bunch of money and they're scammers, that's not going to change anything. So, like, I also to your thing, they do about the profit in the column there on the right column, like the wins and losses. It's a small sample size too. I would be obviously very, very willing to bet that there's a lot less green if we go back like and use like a 2-year sample as opposed to a 6-month sample there.
I also will say in terms of there's no way I will host a space if his opinion saying, well, they're an illegal bookmaker. You need to give me some context. You need to give me some proof. Blanket statements like that with no proof, I would never platform someone to do that. I'd never do it on my own show. I wouldn't do it on Spaces. Some would, but I won't.
It's also, I think Nadu brought up a good point. The date was a surprise to him, and I think he's right. There's likely that nothing's going to happen. This seems like, let's post a date a month out, badmouth them. I don't have to provide any proof. And then when the date comes clear, he can say, me and Nadu had differences. I don't want to host it anymore. And he got all the slander out. I thought it was going to be something more, but after hearing the backstory, it seems like this is just slander of people he doesn't like, and he's taking out personal vendettas and also bringing up the DUI 14 years ago is pretty gross. I mean,
And I will say, I did express, like John and I talked about this. I expressed to him, hey, if it's something you want, I can help. If you want me to present it, I'll host a space. But I also did make it clear, I'll hear their side of the story too. I'm not going to just have you on and you're going to just say what you want. And they're not because I have relationships with John. I have relationships with Kelly. I'm not going to just let people get bad mouthed here. And I want to do it because I feel personally, I will give both of the sides the best possible scenario. Certain people will platform one and let them say whatever they want. They don't think about what are the other things that comes out of it. So I just kind of extended to John that I do it if he wanted me to, but he didn't tell me a date. I figured he wanted to do it that day or that week. I didn't know it was a month out.
People said in the replies too, it's like, if you have something, like what's the point of waiting a month? Like if you actually had something, why would you not just go ahead and do something this week?
He claimed to me that he's got a bunch going on in his personal life. He's traveling, stuff like that. So,
but then why make this big bold claim?
I have
right now?
Probably because he had the ability to do it because this tweet came out and he used it as a way to, hey, I have much more behind this. All
right. Well, I guess we'll just have to monitor the situation and wait and see if something bigger does come of it. But of course, we'll see what WagerTalk says about this as well. I wonder if do you guys think they'll even make anything of this original post? Like, are they going to say anything about this, or just going to let it go essentially for now?
I mean,
there's nothing to respond to.
There hasn't even been an accusation made. Like, what are they even supposed to say?
Yeah, I guess so. All right, we'll move on to our next topic in just a moment here. But before we do, a word from our presenting sponsor, Underdog. All right, quick shout out to our friends over at Underdog. Because if you've been watching the playoffs, but you haven't been using them, then you're missing out on one of the best user experiences in the space. We've tried a lot of different apps over the years, and Underdog just nails it. The interface is clean, fast, and simple, but not in a watered down way. It's intuitive. You log in, you know exactly where to go, and you can build entries in seconds without having to dig through 5 layers of nonsense. It's honestly one of those products where the more you use it, the more you appreciate how well it's built. Whether you're playing casually or taking it seriously, it just works. And you actually want to come back and use it again. We've also heard from a bunch of you and even a few sharp bettors who said the same thing. I didn't expect to actually like this. That says a lot. So if you haven't signed up yet, now is the time. Just click the link in the description and use code CIRCLES on sign up. And that'll get you up to $1,000 in bonus credit as a new customer. Again, that is promo code CIRCLES, right with the link below. Check it out and let us know what you think. We're betting you'll be impressed. Next up here, we have a topic that was brought up by Mike Rass, Mike of Right Angle Sports, at Mike_R_Rass, who posted this photo here. Says, will my children need therapy? Hanging with me down here. Big night in the W. And it's a photo of what I assume is his basement setup for watching sports. On the left, there is a monitor that is into the wall that has an odd screen. Then there are 4 different big TVs mounted with 2 chairs underneath the middle TV. I'm trying to describe it for people listening in audio form. So there's 3 TVs side by side. Underneath the third one on the right, there is a TV underneath. And then underneath the middle TV, there's 2 chairs pointing at the viewing area where there is a desk with a very wide monitor. Like that's probably more than 2 of my monitors wide. And then a laptop as well. So betting setup there and a ton of viewing setup. This is from Mike Rass, again, of Right Angle Sports, does a lot of work in the betting space. Is this what the ideal betting setup looks like? Like, Flup, if you're doing live betting, is this anything like your setup?
Less TVs and more monitors. You want as much monitors to see the different odds. I do like the TVs. It's good for sweating, but this is overkill. This is more enjoyable. You've made your bets experience, and then maybe you want to. The one odd screen is like you see what's going on as the games are going on, but I would not be live betting in this setup. This is too many TVs. You need more monitors. You gotta grind.
How about for you, Moretto? Could you see yourself working in something like this?
Too many TVs maybe is a little bit of a stretch. I like the fact that there's only 4 because then I've seen people that have not like you saw Rex used to post his a lot and he's got the 12 TVs and stuff like that. That's just insane. You can't even see what's happening on any of these TVs. So the 4 is good because you get the good size of them. I like the the elongated curved monitor. The curved monitor is a good hack there. That's a really good one. Yeah, I guess more screens would be good, like Fluff said. For me, my big takeaway here was, where's the chair? There's no way he sits in one of those like movie theater style seats the entire time, because I would destroy my back after 30 minutes of that. If he does not have an actual chair, and I don't see one that can fit in there, man, how does he survive that? I'd be crippled. I would be crippled after a day of betting sitting in this setup if that's the chair he sits in all day.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like this is just his setup. This is where he would just work from as well. You're right. It's like the lounge chair. It's like a home theater sort of setup for the chairs, and he's sitting in that to work at his desk. I also would not be able.
You got to sit up to like the very front of that chair, and you got to also then lean forward the whole time. Yeah. That cannot be comfortable. There has to be a chair missing from this picture. I also don't understand the point of the chairs underneath the middle TV. And then the one, though, again, it's a really good setup. I'm just trying to like find some.
It might be a standing desk too.
The chair thing it could be a standing desk. Maybe it does raise. That's true. In which case, that's even better for your back. So fair play to him. The desk is also a bit messy. Could use a little bit of a clean. Probably could have cleaned it up before taking the picture. And then you need some electrical work done here underneath. There's way too many cords. You got to get some electrical work done. Let's bury some of these underground, or let's get an outlet coming out of the ground where you can plug stuff into, as opposed to having that power bar there. That just, I mean, you have your kids down there. That just seems a little bit dangerous.
Two things here. Okay. This is one thing that grinds my gears. The ostentatious gluttony of people in this country is insane. I mean, why do we need that many fucking TVs? I mean, seriously, you only have two eyes. You can only look at one thing. You know how many TVs I have in this room? One. You know how many TVs I have downstairs in my living room? One. You see people with TVs in their goddamn bathrooms. Do you need a TV that bad in your bathroom? Take a shower. Do what you got to do and get out. I mean, I'm not in on this. Now, I want to answer his question. Will his children need therapy? Yeah, Mike, they will. What do you expect them to come down and say, Dad, what are all those numbers on the wall? What do those mean? Yeah, Mike, your kids in about 5 years, they're gonna have DraftKings accounts. They're gonna have PPH accounts. I mean, they may need partnerships here soon. Yeah, what do you think? I mean,
so actually, he did follow up on this. So he said his 13-year-old child likes to be in there with him and does like fake betting, and they track his fake bets. Essentially.
Oh, I didn't read that.
Terrible. You should not.
He's definitely going to have a PPH account very soon.
But the 13-year-old apparently loves watching the games there, loves being involved. The 8-year-old never goes down here and doesn't like being in that room. That's what was said.
I started betting when I was 9. I've said that many times. So I can't really talk. That said, my mother and father didn't sit me down in a room like that and teach me about what this means and what that means. No, the kid already has a PPH. He probably has multiple ones. He's literally on Twitter as a burner right now. I guarantee that. Yeah, Mike, they need therapy.
Let me read exactly what the reply said, just to make it a bit more clear. It says, have one child who would spend 14 hours down there with me if allowed during a day. He actively identifies injuries as they happen and turns up the volume for coaches' halftime injuries.
Unbelievable.
He's 13. I would absolutely take him as an intern over most college kids, other than I hope he avoids gambling badly, so especially with water rising on all of us. To attempt to illustrate how difficult this is and humble him, we created a Google Doc where he places his picks on games pre-game. He currently is well ahead, and this is failing spectacularly. He's going to need the most therapy, and he's going to need the most therapy in the family. So he has tracked the picks. Apparently he's doing well on the picks. He's not actually betting on them. How about getting your kids started early in sports betting, though?
I actually respect this guy after hearing that. He actually DM'd me. I didn't even see this on my other account. He got the block by me at one point. And I unblocked him over this. I unblocked him over this behavior. Actually, I like this guy, but no, he is very much a part of problem gambling, possibly on behalf of his children. They already need help, Mike. You should have already called the therapy.
Well, he's open about it.
I think the setup's pretty cool for sweating. I agree with the new, a little bit too many TVs, but having your 13-year-old son do this is a very bad idea in my opinion. Wait till they're at least like 21 when they can do it legally? I mean, come on. This seems ridiculous. I can't support this behavior.
I will say though, Flop, and to that point, like you said earlier too, you started betting when you were what, 9?
Yes.
I started betting when I was in high school, like grade 10, grade 11 was when I really started betting. I didn't have anyone teaching me about it. I didn't have anything to learn from. If you're going to discover it anyways at a young age, and realistically, whether this kid's down here or not, he knows what his dad does for a living. He's going to be exposed to sports betting. He's going to be curious. He's probably going to start betting at a younger age. At least he's learning how to do so somewhat successfully. I had to learn myself. I lost a lot of money when I was in high school because I didn't know how to bet and no one taught me how to bet, and I had to basically make those mistakes for myself. So like, if he's going to discover it anyways, which he probably will based on what his dad does for a living, at least he's getting like a bit of a crash course in like how to do so successfully.
See, I disagree with that, because if you start out well, it can only go downhill in my opinion. If you start out bad like yourself, I think it's actually better, because it's a rude awakening, and it's better to go bust when you're like 18, 19, 20, and rather than figure it out when you're 40 and you have like a family and kids that's support on you.
But here's the problem. Every kid wants to be like their father. Okay. That's just the truth. And I think in his case, it's better for him in a way to kind of what you guys said, to learn from him as opposed to some of the leeches we deal with on a daily basis. I'd much rather have him in a guarded position dealing with what I'm telling him. You know, again, I would try to teach my kid, you don't want to ever get involved with this. Go out and become something else. You don't want to do this. But I guess you keep him kind of close. It's better than, him learning the hard way.
I haven't really said much on the setup here. This is like an insane setup to me. I mean, Alex is right. Rose right about the desk and not having a chair. If it's a standing desk, then it is what it is. But like, I like the odd screen in the wall here. But like these TVs, I guess they're mounted on the side, which is fine. I don't know why this one is on its own is on a stand. Like,
why are they all smaller than each other?
Yeah.
No, that's not on a stand. It's not on a stand. That's like a portable. That's like a fan.
Oh,
like
it's
some
a
sort of
fan.
AC unit. It looks
I didn't
like
realize.
it based on the picture, the way but it's not a.
You're right.
Not on a stand. Yeah.
Okay. It's smaller, which I don't like. It should be, I think, like same, like matching corners. 2 chairs underneath the front TV makes no sense to me. And this like. For the amount of money that has gone into this setup, why is there like a mini folding table here with a bunch of stuff scattered on it? I feel like this with the equipment here makes for a lot of potential for this setup, but the execution is a bit poor.
As a big lines in the carpet guy, I do respect that. Shout out to him. It likes like vacuumed a little bit beforehand. Nice energy. But yeah, Moretto makes a great point. That chairs or not lack of chair setup is rough. That has to be a setup because he'd have put the chair in it. I mean, yeah, that's Mike Mike. You gotta
Mike,
fix that.
Please send us a photo showcasing what you would be looking like in that chair while you're working. Are you on the edge? Are you standing? I would love to have some more information.
That could could change the opinions of several people.
Absolutely. Yep. All right, next topic up here. It has hit a second week of this story. I am not going to read this full tweet. It is an entire slide of text. This is one tweet by the Real Fats at Real_Fats, prominent member of the sports betting space. As I said, this was a topic on the chopping block last week. But just to recap for anybody who missed it, this whole saga started when Fats was in the drive-thru at a McDonald's. No other cars were in the drive-thru, and the food was going to take a bit longer than they anticipated. So they asked him to pull into a designated parking spot outside of the drive-thru. I mean, I don't know. Like I said, sometimes that parking spot is within the drive-thru, sometimes in the parking lot, whatever it was. It'll take an extra few minutes, and somebody will bring the food out to the car in that parking spot. Fats was very upset to have to do this because there was no other cars in the drive-thru. Therefore, he could have just waited at the window for the food to be ready. And as much as it's something that could I guess be a little annoying, maybe cause you to make a single post on Twitter, he has wrote like a new novel every day on this whole thing. He has he's tagged at SEC government. He's tagged the president, Donald Trump, and he wrote out something that Donald Trump himself should send over to McDonald's via an executive order. like he wrote this out. By executive order, I, Donald J. Trump, make it illegal for a McDonald's restaurant to ask a patron to pull away from the pickup window to wait in a designated area for their order when there are no other cars in the drive-through line behind them. I mean, this is just absolutely insane. McDonald's reached out for like more information originally. I don't know what he really wants from this. Like McDonald's reached back out. What's going on here?
He's hoping he wants a call with the CEO of McDonald's. That's what he wants. 1,000%. This is the most pathetic storyline this genre has had in a long time. And remember, we are dealing with, as I said, some of the biggest leeches, desperate for content motherfuckers on the planet. And
I wouldn't say Fats falls into that category. This is
it's pathetic. Hey, Fats, you ever think about the fact, and I said this to you and I'll say it to you again. You ever think about the world doesn't fucking revolve around you, Fats? Number one, I don't know if you realize this, but just because there's no cars in the drive-thru doesn't mean one won't pull up. And yeah, you might not get your goddamn burger in 30 seconds because maybe there's DoorDash and Uber Eats and Grubhub and all these other things they have to worry about on top of your order. Throw in the fact that they have people inside that they have to deal with. Throw in the fact that they've got catering orders. They've got all sorts of other things. And I hate to do this, but I'm going to. Think about, Fats, the country we live in, the things we're awarded here. For once, just think of someone that your problems are not as big as. I mean, seriously, this is what you're worried about, Fats. With all the things going on in your life, this is what you're concerned with.
I think it's
order food and get it within a fucking minute.
I think it's like to be like annoyed to have to do this, I think is fine. But to go to this length with it, that's where I have the bigger issue. Fluff, what do you made of this? You've been following it, I'm sure.
First, I thought he was serious. I'm leaning towards this is a bit.
I don't think so.
No way.
All right.
There's no way.
Let's say
this is too
let's say
bad
it's not
to
a
be
bit. Let's say it's not a bit. The dude has cancer. Like, can we just leave him alone? Like, this is a dear issue to himself.
My father had cancer. My father had cancer as well. If he came to me and this is what he was worried about, I mean, come on, man. Seriously, you don't have bigger problems than this.
I understand. It seems pathetic, and I find it pretty funny, and it's cringy. But I mean, he's not really harming anyone. I mean, this is an issue that's dear to him. It's hard for me to hate on this. I understand it looks pathetic and there's bigger issues, but it's just, I find it funny, and I don't know.
It's very funny.
I figure, let the man be. I'm enjoying watching from the sidelines. I do enjoy McDonald's. I go there from time to time. I'll continue to go. I'm not going to boycott McDonald's because of this, but I find it funny. It's a little sad and cringy, but that's part of what makes it funny.
It's really sad. It is really sad. I don't get the like entertainment of it at all. Like after one post maybe, but like the thing is, like Jacob, you even said it's like a minor annoyance. Like, you know what I mean? Like whatever. I get being a little annoyed by it. It's not even annoying. I don't even get what's annoying about it. You're literally sitting in your car still. You're driving an extra 20 feet and you're waiting for your food. They're going to bring it to you when it's ready, no matter what. Who cares if they bring it to you in that parking spot or where you are exactly at that exact moment? Like, it doesn't make a difference. There's not, in terms of like, on like a scale of 0 to 10 on like the how much does this matter, it is a legitimate 0. Like,
and also remember, if they said, hey, Fats, you have to turn your car off and can't sit in your air-conditioned car, I can maybe understand. Okay, fine. Who are you going to tell me to turn my car off? By the way, Fats, why are you eating this type of food? It's incredibly bad for you. It's the worst food on the planet.
Hey, everyone can enjoy McDonald's from time to time.
Time to time, it's not that bad.
It's terrible.
He said he doesn't go very often, to be fair.
He's also in the car with his wife. Like, you're spending some quality time with your wife. It's not like you're racing home to see your kids and you need to get home. Like, you're already with your wife. Who cares? Like, it's not even taking extra time.
But
either way,
it's not about the time thing. It's not about the time thing for him. It's the fact that he couldn't just wait at the window. That's the problem. It's not like a time thing. It's not like he was in a hurry. It was just why does he have to drive up?
I think Nadu brought out the best point, which is there could be DoorDash and Uber Eats, and that's why, and another car could come up. So even though it seems as useless to have to pull forward, I understand I understand why they would have that policy there.
Also, maybe it's just protocol, and it's not the workers that created that protocol.
the protocol. Sorry, maybe it's not even quite protocol. So what it is, very likely, is McDonald's. They have automated stat tracking of how fast they service people in the drive-through. Therefore, if somebody's at the window for a longer period of time, it will affect their basically the average wait time, which will reflect poorly on them to higher ups within the company. So it's likely they're doing this because it makes their stats look worse if you were to just sit at the window for the entire time.
But remember, Fats doesn't care about the little worker. It's all about how quick he can get his goddamn burger. That doesn't mean anything to him. He doesn't care about that, Jacob. That would be fair, and we would understand that. He doesn't get it. It's only about what he wants and what he gets. Now, I do respect, I will say, the whole stuff with some of these people on Twitter that he has issues with. I respect it, but I think he's just being a dick, honestly.
Just the extent of it, I can't believe.
Calling for a nationwide boycott of McDonald's and tagging Donald Trump is fucking clinically insane. Like, who do you think you are? You're not like Kim Kardashian. Like, what sort of influence do you think you have? If every single person who follows him and every person who follows those people who follow him boycotted McDonald's because of this, they wouldn't even notice. It wouldn't even matter. Like, it's so delusional to even put that out there and call for that. Like, it's insane.
Whoa, Alex, how arrogant are you that you think Fats doesn't have the influence to affect McDonald's share price? But I do agree. That part is a little ludicrous and makes me think this is a bit. Because, I mean, he can't seriously think a boycott's going to affect McDonald's.
I would love to hear... I'd love to hear in the comments if people think this is a bit or not. I don't think it's a bit.
It's the worst bit ever if it's a bit.
No,
because the only thing this bit does is make people think you are mentally unwell.
It does have small tinges of the ELF school of engagement in terms of length of tweet, like consistent badgering, like profiled accounts. Like the only thing I noticed he didn't do is he didn't. I don't know if he added Donald Trump. He should have did that. That would have maybe helped.
Oh, he did. No, he did.
He did.
Oh, he did. Okay.
And he also tagged him in multiple.
He also asked if who was it? I can't remember who he said, but like the chief finance officer, like he asked if like certain people like in Donald Trump's cabinet wanted to send him their direct line. So he hop on a call with.
Go ahead.
Why not just go in and ask to speak to the franchise owner? They're always listed. Why not just try to call him directly and be like,
maybe he's already done that.
My guess would be he does not want to get out of his car.
Maybe it's because this is a bit, and he's joking, and he's doing this for engagement. I mean, come on, guys.
I don't think. I really don't think so. I don't know.
It's
I don't know him well enough.
I feel like how unfulfilled do you have to be by your life to put this much time and energy into something like this? Like, I actually don't understand. It's not like you're just tweeting about it a little bit here and there. You are writing legitimate novels. He's making like AI images of people protesting outside of McDonald's. He's putting legitimate time and effort into this.
No, this is one thing this is why Flup might be right in terms of a bit. I don't know if you guys noticed, but he didn't spend nearly 10% of this time arguing with United Healthcare, who he's dealing with his cancer treatments. They screwed him out of something. Remember?
Yeah, he did one long post, which was good. It brought some very good attention to the situation. You're right. If he's going to dedicate this much time to a battle with a mega conglomerate of a corporation, it should probably be with United Healthcare rather than
Fats is the king of engagement.
Yeah, and honestly, it's working. We're talking about him on this show. People are angry with him. I think he's doing an excellent job.
There are a lot of people who agree with him. Again, I'm not saying, look, if you think it's dumb that you have to pull up to the parking spot when there's nobody in line, that's fine. But to make it a huge deal for this many days in a row is just utterly ridiculous. I wanted to also highlight this from the Tuesday show. Jeff Feinberg said, "Can I donate 20K worth of points to you? McDonald's points from the app. Will that make you stop?" And if anybody knows anything about McDonald's points, if you don't know, 24,000 points, you are an avid McDonald's enjoyer. Jeff has racked up some points here. Fat said, "If I wanted to be bought off with coupons and incentive, I could have supplied McDonald's with the personal info they asked me for. This is merely about them answering a simple question, which they already have acknowledged is an annoyance to their customers. Maybe they don't get the point, and we need to do a wellness check on you." I don't really understand here. Like, they offered to take his feedback into consideration. I don't know. I don't know what he's trying to accomplish.
He wants a meeting with the CEO. I'm telling you,
No,
that's
he wants engagement. This is such an obvious fit. Come on, guys. He cannot be serious.
I'm starting to believe that more and more.
I think that's the problem.
I don't know. I have not eaten at McDonald's, honestly, in like 10 plus years. I would go to McDonald's regularly again if out of all this, they banned fats. They just said, fuck this guy, we're done.
So
they just banned him. I would love that. I would be all in on McDonald's again. I'd have them cater my kid's birthday in a couple of weeks.
I'll actually do one better.
I would love to see that come out of this.
I'll do one better. I'll go there once a week, buy $250 worth of food, and just give it out to people that are homeless. I'll actually do that too. So McDonald's, if you ban Steven Diano, aka the Real Fats, I will commit to that for a year.
Wow, that's quite a promise. I think in the end, McDonald's won't do anything, and they're just going to keep
because honestly, it doesn't matter, and he doesn't have any real influence to do anything.
Wait, so Jacob, you don't think Donald Trump's going to respond to this?
Donald Trump, the very public McDonald's enjoyer, loves McDonald's.
Right.
You think he is going to go out of his way to tarnish McDonald's?
No, that's true. Good point.
Also,
actually.
a major economic figure in the U.S. Like, there's just no fucking way. Obviously, there's no way that Donald Trump was going to get involved. But like, also, if you know anything about Donald Trump, you know he's obviously not going to do anything against McDonald's here. As we wrap this up, final one. You just sent me this, Moretto. I did see as well. Prop Dude shared on May 30th that he had just muted the at Real Fats right before this whole saga started to unfold, and he said, "Talk about perfect market timing." You're going to add something there, Moretto?
Yeah, that's what I was going to add. That is basically the best tweet that has come out of this entire thing. I thought that was really funny. Shouts to Prop Dude.
I like this. I hope he keeps going just for the entertainment of it. It's I do find this funny, but I don't think we have anything more to say on this show here. Next topic here comes from at Top Down Teddy, who these are always pieces of content that'll drop engagement. So he said, build your dream podcast for $15. In the $5 tier, because we have audio listeners, I'll do the whole thing for everybody. We have Rob Pizzola, we have Jeff Benson, we have Rufus Peabody, we had Spanky, and then Top Down Teddy themselves. In the $4 tier, we have Jeff Ma, Matt Zilbert, Elf, Kirk Evans, GRP. $3 tier, Prop Dude, Fezzik, Mr. Peanut Butter, have Hitman, Chernoff. $2 tier, we have our very own Flup, our very own Kanish, Plus CV Analytics, Right Angle Sports, Taylor Mathis. Then $1 tier, we have Blez, Nadu, Amanda Vance, Jeff Feinberg, and me, Nadu. You upset to be in the $1 tier?
I mean, and I'm being 100% honest here. There's maybe one or two people in here with more influence in content creation than me. I mean, what the fuck are we doing here with this? I'm with Blez and Jacob. I mean, I should be on the $10.
What the fuck, man?
I should be on the Jacob. Honestly, answer this. In that group of people, other than maybe Taylor Mathis and Rufus, maybe Frankie, like I should be on the fucking $10 tier. What the hell is this?
For a sports betting podcast,
in terms of overall influence,
well, I think you're tough. You're hard pressed to compete with the $5 tier.
I was Flup on $2 and I'm on $1.
I think this makes sense. I think
Who's the guy in the white shirt with the white background? Who the hell even is that?
Prop Dude, the guy we just showed.
That's Prop Dude.
Yeah, who even is that?
Prop Dude? You got
I'm not going to dox him on here, but
yeah, I'm not going to dox him.
He's got 1,640 followers. Who the fuck is he?
It's a little more than me, at least. Honestly, when I saw this post, I was pretty shocked when I saw myself actually on the list. So I'll take it. I've never been on one of these lists, so I'll take it. That was one of my takeaways,
Jacob. I was very happy to see you on there. I was very.
Hey, the hammer's growing.
Starting to get the record. Yeah, people talk shit about this show and talk shit about Circles Off. Well, hey, I mean, look, the influence is obviously growing.
I think I was last on the list, like the last edition. So I want to know who was the last cut. Who did I get in ahead of for this?
In terms of hosting, he is probably, Jacob, the best host on there. So I'd pick him. Flup, who's your list? Make your list, Flup.
I mean, of the $5, I think it's Rob. Maybe I'm a little biased because I think of the $4, I'm a fan of Kirk. I would go with Kirk. $3, I would go with Peanut. $2, I would actually go with Kanish. I think he's hysterical. I think he does a better job than myself. And then of the $1, it's either Nadu or Jacob. It depends. Like, is Rob going to host? Then I would take Nadu. If Rob is going to speak, then I would take Jacob to host. So that's what I would do. I think
I can't wait to see the comments next week and how the circles off bias you just showed in picking your list.
I'll
cannot wait to see how you get called.
Let me give my very biased list. So I'm going with Rob. I'm going to pick my boss for sure. Imagine not picking my boss. I'll go either Kirk Evans or Jeff Ma at $4, but I'll be biased and pick Kirk Evans. Then here's where I go a bit different. So if I'm taking from the $2 tier, if I'm going to take Flup, I would take Mr. Peanut Butter for the balance of characters, because you'll be a bit more serious and he'll be much less serious. But if I go Kanish from the $2 tier, he'll be the unserious one. Then I would be able to pick Prop Dude to go in the $3 tier. And then obviously you got to pick yourself. So I'm going to pick myself.
I don't even need $15. No offense. That $3 tier is a nothing burger. There is nothing there I have interest in. Give me Benson, Zilbert, Hanagakis, Blez, Amanda Vance.
Okay.
So I think this shows like the difference. I think the Nadu's list is going to generate the most engagement by far. I mean,
Exactly.
Yeah, by far. But if you want actually like the highest quality content, I think Jacobs or myself is where you go at.
But be honest, Benson and Blez going back and forth with Amanda Vance's, couple of beers in. You got George trying to hit on Amanda.
Does it have longevity though?
I wouldn't even put that on Benson. The misery he would have to go through to do that every time. I wouldn't even put that on him.
No way. You can't get Benson to do that. He no matter how much money, he wouldn't do it.
If it's like a one-off show, I think that's a good for engagement. But can that sustain? Like a 50 episode run? That'd be my question.
I'm sad. That was a great rant. That was a great rant. I agree. You should be higher on this list. That was fantastic. Yeah. Taking shots at everyone. That was great. But I wish Kanish was on here for his rant too. Him to see himself in a tier lower than Fezzik and Hitman would have been unbelievable. So I'm upset about that. Hopefully we might have to bring this up again next week to just to hear him cry about that. Also, Elf in the $4 tier is insane.
Zilbert's in the $4 tier, and so is GRP. Like, what are we doing here? Yeah, but at least
Zilbert and like GRP are like funny, and they offer some like humor. Like
that is debatable.
That side of it, and he doesn't have the sharp side of it. Like there's no, I don't know. He should not be in the $4 tier for me. He should be in the $1 tier.
Nadu, I don't want to stroke your ego too hard here. I think $10 is a bit extreme. It depends on what genre. If you're saying podcast in general, you're probably up in the $5 tier with everyone else. If it's sports betting, those other guys do have a little bit larger following.
Well, listen,
we're probably in the $4 tier for what it's worth.
And that would be one thing I'd like to hear from the guy that created this. Is this in terms of build your dream podcast that's going to make the most money and get the most views and get the most engagement, or it's just, hey, build your dream sports betting, like sharp.
Yeah, it's whatever your dream.
At the end of the show, this will actually come full circle. Weirdly enough, if you listen to the end of the show and what Flup just said. So I'll explain that in just a second.
All right, good. Just to add one more thing, the beauty is in the eye of the beholder, right? Like my list would change
your
what
dream
I'm in the
podcast
mood for that day, right? And so your dream podcast, but also my dream podcast will change depending on what I'm in the mood to listen to. So like some days I want to listen to like GRP and Benson go back and forth. Some days you couldn't pay me to listen to that, right? Like it all depends on your mood and whatever. So I think everyone's answer is obviously going to be different.
All right, we're going to read your comments from the previous week's episode in just a minute here, but let's talk to you a little bit more about what we do on this channel. Thank you so much to all of you for helping the Circles Off YouTube channel hit 19,000 subscribers, but we want to continue to push forward. We want to get up to 20,000 subs. So if you're enjoying this episode so far, make sure you smash that like button and make sure as well that you are subscribed to the channel for Circle Back content every Tuesday and Friday. And I promise you, we're working very hard behind the scenes to get the new studio ready to help bring you better content more often. And that means bringing back the Thursday interviews. And it also means bringing on some new content to the brand as well that we are sure you're going to want to see. Thank you for your patience in this time. Hopefully you're still enjoying the content along the way, but so much more great stuff is on the way in the future. Maybe consider hitting the notification bell as well so you never miss out on anything. Now let's get back to this episode of Circle Back. comment comes from at JDW2592. We've had some others from this user feature before. It says, if the Thunder lose, Flup has to retire. Don't think I've ever seen a worse NBA better. Flup, how's your NBA season going, buddy?
Honestly, it's actually pretty good.
Where's your documented record?
I don't have a publicly documented record, so I could be talking out of my ass here. But I will admit, of tweets I've posted publicly, I'm doing quite horrendous. The Rockets lost.
Yes.
Cavs lost.
Cavs.
I need OKC. That being said, OKC was my biggest bet. So if they win, I'll have made back all the losses. And I think he's got some good points here. If they lose, I probably should retire because I suck at posting publicly.
Next one, this is about Nadu. Tough one to read here, Nadu. It says, this is from at TR Labs. Nadu should stay on Elf Spaces. A person that delusional because he has lived in a bubble of people making him believe something he is not just for the content has warped his reality of him. No accolades, no credibility, no actual experience, just takes away credibility from this panel. Any response from you, Nadu?
Yeah, so number one, stupid. I've been on here for 15 years. I have literally more time on here than any of the people that have been on the show, maybe other than Pizzola. I put in my time, and that anywhere have I ever come on here and said I was a sharp. I think we've actually made that clear like 7,000 times. For any of you pea-brain people that don't seem to understand it, I was added to this show because I bring people to watch it. This is a media company in the end, stupid. It's not for just sit here and talk about analytical numbers for 7,000 hours. I bring a lightheartedness. Nowhere have I ever said I had the accolades. What accolades are you talking about? Oh, the accolade where I made $100,000 in 3 minutes to fight. And did you see me fight? You mean those accolades? Working for one of the biggest media companies, not once, but twice, and probably could go back for a third time if I wanted. Oh, you mean the fact, accolade-wise, that I literally make a living off the internet and have done so for a decade? Those accolades? What the hell are you even talking about? And by the way, I just wanted to thank you, and the network thanks you. Thank you for watching. Thank you for commenting. And thank you for making the entire post about little old me, who with no accolades.
Good response there. Last comment comes from at Danis Schroeder, 8368.
Schroeder.
Whatever it is. Can we talk about the sneakers in Flup's office? We need a sneaker drop. Flup, you said you are a sneakerhead previously. Yes. We do see the Air Jordan 1 boxes in the background. You also shared this photo with me. Look into your betting setup. So you got
no. This is from college. This is 5 years ago.
I've never seen
it. You need a better fucking setup, man.
Yeah, no. This is from college.
Yeah, some of the Jordan 1s in display.
This is not my entire collection. I've added about 5 more from this. But this is, since I moved to New York, there's not enough space to post to have everything. When I move back, I'll bring the full sneakers and I'll post it on Twitter. But until then, this is the best I can do. I didn't want to bust out all my boxes and dirty up the whole house, or apartment rather. But I love Jordan 1s. I'm not like a true sneakerhead in terms of I care about the history behind every shoe. I think the Jordan 1s are a sick shoe. I like to wear them. I like the way they look. And I've been collecting them for the better part of 7 years at this point.
I have an idea for a new show, Flup. Me and you. Sneaker Sharps. Okay. We put out some sneakers that we like, and then we put out some betting picks we like.
See, the problem is I only like the Jordan 1s. So
you don't like, okay. But I only like Jordan 11s. So
that's fair.
I was going to say, do you only have Jordan 1s?
Yes, I only have Jordan. I have, I guess I have the Air Force 1s, and then I have some Kyrie 3s or 5s. I can't actually remember. But besides that, no, basically I have 15 or 16 Jordan 1s and then just the Air Force 1s, and that's it.
Hey, Moretto or Jacob, you ever hear my policy on Air Force 1s?
What's the policy?
I never wear them more than twice.
You're like Dr. Dre, one and done.
The crease is insane.
That is true. The crease is very insane.
Jordan 1s have been insane, but sometimes the crease if it's like a good quality leather, the crease makes it look a bit nicer in a way.
And them crease guards, they don't work.
No.
I've never worn a pair of Jordans, Air Force 1s, or any of these shoes you guys are talking about in my entire life. I think I own like 4 pairs of shoes right now.
Yeah, you're the dad here, man.
You're the boat shoe guy.
Put on the fucking sandals, man.
Go to Under Armour outlet and I pick up a couple pairs of sneakers and they last me for a while.
Are these fragments in the middle, Flup?
Yes.
Is that the prize of the collection, would you say?
No, those actually, those were obsidians. Sorry, not fragments.
Okay.
No, the prize is I did get some off-white UNCs, Jordan 1. So
right,
that's the prize right now. I got it when I got a new job as a gift to myself, but
you earned it. You earned it. All right, next topic here. BlezBets back on the show here. Started a conversation when he said, if the Pacers don't cover 9.5 tonight, I'll do whatever the top comment says. And we had Todd Rizzo at Wizard of Odds, who says, send everyone in this thread $2,000 in U.S. currency, and then proceeded to get blocked by BlezBets. So he said, for real? But wasn't the only person to have this fate. We had Gambling Taylor, King Taylor Gang, said, Trent's autistic cousin just blocked me. And underneath the same post, he said, have sex with a stripper from Spearman Rhino. Also liked his own fucking post, which I think is pretty lame, but also got blocked for this. I mean, Blez, if you're going to ask for the comments, you can't get mad when you don't like the answers. What's going on here, Nadu?
Well, here, I'm at the point with Blez where there's not much he can do wrong in my eyes. I think he's very funny. I think his, just everything he does. And again, I have reason to believe everything he does is engagement baiting. He does a really good job.
This is a bit, for sure.
Yeah. I think he takes from my school where he gets under people's skin to the level where he just does these things. Like, I'm a big blocker, and most of the things that I get comment for, block. He does a great job with it. He is on the precipice of losing, which you got to feel it's a little ragey from him. He's upset. The Spearmint Rhino thing, I would have switched to just a hooker. I think it would have been way more attainable for him and better. But yeah, this is I wouldn't block someone for this. This is a rough look for Blez. I can't even defend.
It's just like, why would he block over a funny reply? I mean, they're helping.
It was something he asked for, right?
Yeah. It's helping his engagement. I thought it was weird. What do you think, Moretto?
Yeah, it's very obviously a bit. I mean, the fat stuff is not a bit. This is clearly this is what a bit is. This is
a bit.
You're drumming up engagement. Obviously he's not going to go through with that shit. And you can get pissed off at him for posting this with no intention to go through with what the top comment actually was, and that's why he's blocking guys so he doesn't have to do some of these things. Of course he's not going to do that stuff. Anyone who thought that he was going to do that when they were commenting is also out of their minds for believing he's going to do that. He's just drumming up engagement. That's what he does well. Zero intention to follow through, and I think anyone who expected that is learning the hard way.
Also calling him,
it's weird. It doesn't make sense why you have to block them.
Calling him Trent's cousin's funny because I consider Blez, maybe you guys will agree, he is the prototypical little brother type where I said this before, he has to live in the shadow. His brother's a really accomplished gambler, right? Poker player. And you could tell he's always looking for affirmation from people. He's a good gambler too. And he kind of is always at a fight, and he's clearly a little brother looking kind of guy. And now he almost looks like the cousin too of Trent, who he's trying to be but he's not quite, but he still wants to be regarded as sharp because of his brother. He's in a tough spot. But I think he's funny.
Yeah. I've
accepted a bit. I like it. Go ahead, Flip.
First of all, Fats is definitely a bit. This is also a bit. And, I really like Blez at this point. I wouldn't buy his picks, and I don't recommend anyone do, but I think he's hysterical. I think he does a great job. I think Nadu and I have had similar experiences. I don't know about you, Nadu, but I found him very annoying in the beginning. Now I love him.
Me too.
I think he's hysterical. It's hard for me to hate on him. This is just excellent tweeting by him. Great engagement baits. The blocking a little weak, but besides that, well done, C-Block.
I will say, Jacob, one thing he does not get enough shit for, he has done some pretty schemy shit with his winnable. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but he has MPB level rules on his winnable, where if you don't cancel, it buys a whole year. It's pretty wild.
As a pick seller,
tactic.
Horrible person. As a engagement baiter, rage baiter, fantastic stuff. So calculated all the time. Awesome stuff. I enjoy it. I would not. I also not recommend that you purchase his picks. Agreed. All right. Last full topic here before we hit to the chopping block. We have at Guy in Cornfields Weston, supporter of the show, who posted this Mount Rushmore of NBA courtside fans. It includes Jack Nicholson. It includes Jimmy Goldstein. And then it seems like it was AI generated. Then he added on 2 of his picks, which were Spike Lee and Book It with Trent. Who is the GOAT of NBA courtside fans? Who do we think?
Spike Lee has to be the GOAT. I mean, that guy is unbelievable. The other 2, other than Trent, pretty solid as well. But Spike Lee is just, to me, when I think Spike Lee, I think courtside Knicks.
I'll go with 2. I'll go with the guy from Toronto, the
Nav Bhatia.
Yes.
Hall of Famer Nav Bhatia.
And I also go with Drake. I mean, Drake is always at games as well.
No, Drake never goes anymore. He was.
Okay, maybe I'm.
Listen, Nav Bhatia has missed 1 home Raptors game his entire life because of COVID protocols.
I've seen him in,
or just game.
I'm not 100% sure. I believe he's always sat courtside.
I've seen him in Philly. He goes to away game.
And somebody said he was at a Pacers game last week. He has sat, I believe it's the same seat, but he has been courtside of every single Raptors home game except for 1 in history because he had he was not allowed to attend because of COVID protocols.
That is dedication. I didn't realize he was that insane. And I thought he wasn't courtside, so my mistake there. But Spike Lee's also been doing it for like what? 20,
Spike Lee's and Jack Nicholson, I think, are.
Yeah, and Spike Lee is not a phony. He goes to every game. He doesn't go just when it's popular, like Chalamet or Ben.
Like
Stiller.
Drake.
Yeah, he goes like if they're 19-42, he goes to a game against the fucking random Jazz on a Tuesday.
Spike Lee is the epitome of someone that deserves it, in my opinion. He was very successful in his career, made a lot of money, and gets to enjoy it by doing something he loves, which is watching his favorite team courtside. How can you hate on him? Very great guy.
Same for Nav Bhatia. Came in as an immigrant, not a lot of money, worked himself up in the car dealership business. Now he can afford to go to every game.
We also don't talk enough. I know this is not a movie show, but Spike Lee, very underrated in terms of his filmography, if you will. We don't talk enough about Spike, to be fair.
He's kind of like just known as a celebrity just for being famous more so than being like a director at this point or like so he produced films. Anyways,
yep.
Right. Any courtside goats?
One of the best 30 for 30s too was the Spike Lee winning time one with Reggie Miller. That was great. I'm pretty sure he might have had a play in directing that too. NBA goats, not really. I don't really follow the NBA, as I've said before many times here. There were some great hockey ones that Will Ferrell when he was at those Kings games back in the day when they were making their runs. Vince Vaughn for the Blackhawks was great. But I wanted to talk about this for a second too because Trent chirping and getting the warning. Yeah, I think that's such loser behavior. Yeah, I cannot stand that.
Let me pull up the story here. So I think the reason Guy in Cornfields included Trent here is because Trent was courtside at a NBA Finals game and received a warning from the arena. He said not even 5 minutes into the game, James Johnson, one of the Pacers players, is a certified tattletale crybaby. Trent got a warning essentially saying that if he continues to he was talking shit apparently. If he continues to do so, he'll be ejected from the arena. And he explained, I was chirping the fuck out of Halliburton during warmups. James Johnson walked over and said I was a bitch. I said, who the fuck are you, bro? He told security something, and then I was handed this. I mean, James Johnson by name, so you can't really say who the fuck are you, bro, because you literally named him. But you think this is loser behavior, Moretto?
Grow up, man. Who are you, Trent? I like Trent. I love Trent's content. I think he's really good at what he does. But know your place and know the timing and who you can talk to and everything. You're not going to be sitting courtside talking shit to these guys when you're booking with Trent. You are in the grand scheme of things in that game, a nobody, and in that arena. Fuck off. Grow up. What are you talking shit to these guys for? These guys are here. They're in the NBA Finals. These guys are the best at what they do. And you're going to tell them they're a loser, and you're a loser, and you're a nobody, and you suck. Come on, man. You're not a 13-year-old kid watching his favorite team play sports.
I love Trent. I agree, though. I did this, and I've talked about it in the show. I was told by referees to shut up at times when I went to games and I sat there. I didn't sit courtside. I got into a Udonis Haslem once on the Miami Heat bench, but I was 13, 14, 15 years old. I'm not, I agree. I also I'm not big on the whole outfit and stuff. Just pretend you've been there before, Spike Lee ain't telling James Johnson to go fuck himself, I
don't understand why you need to curse out the players, the other teams. I remember I went to a Minnesota Vikings game. I'm a big Jets fan, and the Jets are playing. I was cheering for the Jets, and the Vikings fans were very respectful towards me. They ended up losing. They said, and a couple of them said to me, "Great game." I've also been to Dolphins games where they're like, "I'm worried about violence getting thrust onto me," and I don't understand, why can't you have a respectful banter? It's fine to have friendly banter, but the hurling insults and calling someone a bitch. Come on, no place for that, in my opinion.
In European, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, it's very hold me back kind of vibes. You know what I mean? Once the cops come in and everyone gets in there, you're yeah, hold me back, hold me back.
Yeah.
You're not gonna say this to him if you guys are alone somewhere and there's no accountability. You're not gonna. So why would you say it to him now?
Yeah. Who do we think wins in a fight? Trent
drop
or
the
James
tough
Johnson?
guy act. Come on.
James Johnson's scary.
Yeah.
I was going to say, in European soccer, I'm sure other sports as well, you are literally not allowed, if you're in an away jersey or an away team, where you're literally not allowed in the home team section because of fear for your safety. So it depends where you are in, I guess, in America. Would I wear a Giants jersey to an Eagles game? Probably not. What do you think we do?
Suicidal.
Can I get away with that?
Suicidal.
Yes.
Listen, blame Ron Artest for all this stuff. The Mouse at the Palace changed all the rules.
Mm-hmm.
So again, is it weak by the NBA? No, they have to, again, I also agree with that. It's just goofy to me behavior.
Even without the Malice of the Palace stuff, you want to, you don't want your players of your league to be subjected to this all game, every game. You got to protect them to some degree too. I don't know. I think it's a bit too far.
You could also expect it from the upper level, right? If you went up there, you shit like that. But people right on the court, you got to do something about it.
All right, let's go to the final segment on the show today, which is, of course, the chopping block. Except it didn't warrant full segments, we still wanted to say a little bit on it. And first up, we have Just Mike at X for the W says, "How the fuck am I supposed to trust someone to send money 82 and his phone doesn't work ever? GRP wins. This has been an ongoing issue and you refuse to fix it. Instead of buying a new phone, which will make you more money, you continue to throw away money. You continue to throw your money away on shitty wagers outside of your expertise." And this is because George was on a show with at Steffi Smalls and says, "I guess I had a static connection on my end when being interviewed by Steffi Smalls. Sorry, Steph, you look great. My phone is only 14 months old. Time for a new one." And I don't have the audio to play for you guys, but very, very staticky audio by GRP. It is incredible that this is a man who is going to sell picks. And anytime I see him on content, there is some sort of technical issue, whether it's been on this network, on the Hammer, or something like this. What do you think about it, Flip?
This is hilarious. Great tweet by Just Mike. It's just so funny. I love GRP's character. I think he's hysterical. I don't think he's a bit. I think that's just who he is. But it also shows how ridiculous it is that he's going to be selling picks. And how could anyone think that GRP is going to be able to win when he can't even work basic technology? How are you going to get the data to beat the NFL?
How is he going to be able to send the picks out every day?
Yeah, exactly.
Or every week, whatever it be.
I love this ongoing bit between people chirping GRP for selling it. Just Mike, excellent tweet. Had me laughing.
What do you think, Moretto? You a fan of the GRP content?
Yeah, I am. I would love to incorporate GRP a little bit more into some of the fun stuff we do. And I've gotten a lot of DMs about it from people being like, you got to book him for more watch alongs. Why don't we get GRP on this? This is the exact reason why GRP does not do more stuff for the Hammer. I would love to have him do more stuff for the Hammer until this guy can buy a friggin' webcam and a microphone or a stable internet connection.
Yeah,
you will not be seeing him on this network for a while.
Well, maybe a Super Bowl prop show. We got to fight for that.
Look, I've mentioned before, at times it's funny. I think at times it's just kind of drawn out. They get a new phone. It's just these people that have flip phones still. Get with the fucking times. It's a clear sign of just lame. Number two, his obsession with having to constantly, you look great, Steph. Like, why'd you have to say that? Like, also, no offense, I like Steph too, but Steph, you got to speak up. The connection sucks. It's on your end. You're the host. You got to be like, yo, get a new fucking phone, bro. You're not coming on. Like, where was she in all this? Like, she just let him talk. But yeah, his like telling, why did he have to put that in there? Just weird.
It's common
By the
for
way,
GRP.
You look great. So unnecessary.
Yeah, it's weird.
Next one comes from Ferris B_86, the other prominent member in gambling Twitter, says, cleared throat, clenched fist, looking up at the clouds. Why are spaces seen as a legitimate medium to discuss nuanced issues? Have we really reached a point where a person can't write out all their thoughts in an easy to follow piece, or even record a pod so their messaging comes off the way they want it with gathered thoughts and editing? Nadu, you're prominent in Twitter spaces. You also run your own spaces. It's Friday night, I believe. What do you take on this?
I agree with that wholeheartedly. I mean, I don't do it as much as like some of these guys do spaces every night, every other night. I agree. I think you have to differentiate. I have podcasts that I can talk about stuff too. To do it in like a 6-hour thing where like, even if you have timestamps, like just do a compliment to the space. Have a podcast every week or something where you kind of wrap it all up, or you talk about a hot button issue. I just think it's laziness by people. It's easy to go on space. It takes 30 seconds. Flup does them. We all do them. They're easy to do. You don't have to put much effort. You can mute yourself for hours on end and let other people just talk. It's just lazy kind of content. I agree with that post though. I think, in addition, Circle Back is one of the things that does a quasi podcast and all this stuff, but I agree. It is lazy and there needs to be better kind of work put in behind the scenes with some of these people.
Well, I want to point out, I agree and disagree. I think some topics you can easily write out. And also I think it's worth noting, I believe Ferris is a writing teacher, right? Or, I mean, I think so, like maybe a little biased because he writes a forum. He can write much better than some idiot like myself. But I think spaces have real value. Like, Nadu's hosted some stuff where it's people are debating and arguing. Well, okay, how are you going to do that on a podcast? I mean, sure, you can have debate podcasts, but sometimes you want to ask and invite people from the audience to ask questions. Well, that can only really be done in real time. I hosted one with Captain Jack talking about gambling tax. It was good to hear real questions in real time. So for some things, I think Spaces is the correct forum. But for topics that are just like you're giving a lesson or explaining and you're just discussing a topic, sure, I can understand writing a piece or doing a podcast.
I think it's a bit unfair the way it's labeled as like all spaces, because there's like a really good host who is able to, whittle out like all this shit and keep it civil in a way and keep it on topic. Then it can lead to some good content. And there are people on spaces doing great content. There are people who aren't doing great content, but there's a lot of content that exists. I mean, the same can be said for YouTube. Like if you're an hour into the show, which you are if you're currently listening, you like the content here, but I'm sure there's other content on YouTube that you would never listen to. You got to find what you like. And I think there are spaces that exist that could provide Ferris what he's looking for. It's just maybe the biggest ones that are the biggest names in the spaces are ones that don't fit into that profile. What do you think, Moretto?
Yeah, I mean, all mediums of content have their pros and cons, I guess. But my takeaway from this, and I know, Chris, you said Ferris is a little bit biased, and he is, but Ferris did a great job with his Substack and his writing. He's written some really good pieces in this space, but just in general, I think like the art of writing has very much kind of died out. And we see it from like the younger generation, or I see it from like, the younger generation that I'm subjected to, at least, like younger cousins and family members and stuff like that. Like, people don't write anymore. People don't read anymore. Like, it's just sad. I don't want to go too like old man yells at clouds here, but like even like print journalism, like the death of that, like just kind of sucks. Cause like I do miss like being able to just like crack open a newspaper or like whatever, just getting like good hard hitting written journalism, and like even in long form writing, and that's kind of just died out these days, and that kind of sucks.
We also have to think about a little bit in terms of what we call someone, let's say, is a good spaces host. Flup made great points on not everyone should host a space. Okay. You gotta know who to put up, who's going to drag the conversation and who's just going to be a douche dickhead that's not going to offer much. Like there's just, the sad thing is anyone can do it. And I think it's kind of dragged down maybe stuff that's better than others.
Last topic here, and maybe hopefully the last time we discuss it, but the $270,000 parlay, it has come to an end. The Edmonton Oilers lost their series against the Florida Panthers, but we do have the final information according to BR Betting. The person who had the $13 parlay to win $270,000, they hedged out in many different ways, and in the end are going to profit $75,000 on this one. Flup, you made the point last week that for a lot of people who said they would have cashed out at 100K, they would have just cashed out way before, never would have even gotten to 100K. Do you think that coming out of this with $75,000, do you think this was handled really well or really poorly?
Yes, very well. 75,000 with this result, it's hard to do better than this. Look, everyone could say they would have cashed out the 146 when it was pre-series. Sure, but those same people would have cashed out at 100 and at 50 likely too. So 75 is a decent hedge. He also even mentioned if the Orioles had came back and won and the Thunder had won, he would have won 93,000. It's hard to get this much, and this is what like gambling should be, in my opinion. A bettor that's likely a theoretical loser of several $100s a year. I mean, he made a $13 bet. He got a ton of excitement, and he hit a lottery. And he got a great experience from it. It's hard for me to hate on this. It seems, maybe I'm wrong here, that he was responsible gambling because he wasn't betting too much. He wasn't betting aggressively. It was $13. If you can't afford to lose $13, I mean, I don't know what to tell you at this point. You make a couple of these bets a year. You have a fun ride. You likely lose majority, if not all of them. But you're here for the excitement. I don't know. I think this is really well done. I know Nadu has the opposite take, so I'm curious to see what he says. But I really enjoyed this experience. It was fun rooting for the kid. I was rooting for the Orioles. I hope they had won.
Anything from you to do?
I mean, now that it's over, I mean, again, this is kind of what content is. It's push it all into our face like 7,000 times a day. And by the end, you just want the kid to lose because he's so annoying and greedy and whatever. But we also didn't know that he necessarily hedged. I also have heard other people say, like, did he actually hedge? We didn't see any proof that he hedged. He just said he hedged. I don't know why he would lie about that. If I would like to see one of these kids, though, turn this into something more. Like, this kid will just forget he ever existed, and he'll go back to doing whatever he was going to do. Why not take what you got from this and use it to your advantage? I think that would be impressive. I wonder if any of these kids will ever do that.
How do you suggest he does that? Because like he starts up a podcast now talking about like sports betting or whatever. Like who's gonna, maybe you listen to like for some people that like the story will listen to the first episode. No one's listening to it beyond that. He doesn't actually probably, I don't know the kid, so maybe he does, but I can't imagine he actually has like some unique takes or offerings that people are going to want to listen to.
Hey, Moretto, Steve Fezzik won a fucking contest 30 years ago. So, you know.
Well, the difference is,
has he
Steve
mentioned
Fezzik
that at all?
Steve Fezzik was actually like winning back then. Like he was actually like a profitable gambler. And something else I want to point out, I've heard people say, like you said, Nadu, that, hey, did he really hedge? I think it makes sense because BR Betting wants to promote DraftKings. They're probably getting paid by DraftKings to promote this. They want it to seem exciting, so they don't want to mention the hedge part until it's actually over.
Yeah.
So it seems very logical to me that he actually hedges. Don't talk about the hedge, talk about the cash out. It drums up engagement and views, and at the end, when it actually is over, you can tell the truth. Hey, he hedged the whole time. He was never considering a cash out because he'd already hedged, and everyone wins. DraftKings got a bunch of views. BR Betting got a bunch of views. The kid got an ultimate experience. This is wins all around.
I'm wondering, though, and I'm curious, I'm sure he'll never tell us, but I'm hoping DraftKings or BR or somebody, they paid for his tickets, right? I mean, he got
I was going to say Kirk Evans from the Tuesday Show made a great point on Twitter saying, like, what isn't factored into the cash out is that if he keeps this going, he gets flown out to all these games, he gets all this exposure. I actually was going to follow up by asking, like, the same question you asked, is he going to be able to do anything with this? But like, Nadu, what do you think he could do from this? Like, do you think a podcast could be successful?
No, I'm not necessarily talking about a podcast, but I would start with just like, you know, like maybe kind of turning it into something in similar to like what Trent does, where you try to build a profile on Twitter. You have to start somewhere. To just not do anything more. I mean, this is something that very few people can ever get to as far as achieving with, like, I've never had this happen to me. Like if this happened to me, I would magnify it times 20. So yeah, I'd maybe just start on Twitter and try to grow things that way.
The difference is, Nadu, you're actually someone that was good at content. You're probably in the top 1% of content, given the size of your YouTube following, the size of your Twitter following. This kid is a random nobody.
Yeah.
He doesn't have the experience to do this. He doesn't know how to capitalize on this. So it's hard for him to have that mindset. Sure, someone like you, if this happened to you, you could probably monetize this and capitalize on it.
I'll tell him
Not everyone's set up for that.
Hit me up. I'll help you out. I won't charge you anything.
Well, we'll see if somebody can come with it. We've seen a lot of people get their 15 minutes of fame, see if they can turn it into something bigger. But that comes to the end of the show, comes to our announcement. And the announcement comes from Jeff Nadu. We'll give him the floor to say what he needs to say.
Yeah, I hate to be right out of here, but this is my last show, guys. We kind of came to an agreement on both sides. I think this is just really, I wouldn't say it's not the right medium, at least show for me. It's just, I think I'm better used in different types of shows other than this one. I think some of the shows we've done have been terrific. I'm just not really one of the more quantifiable, like statistic, sharp betting types of guys, which I think what the network is more entitled for. I'm more a game breakdown, have fun with different random topics, that sort of thing. I just feel like it's kind of a different segment than what I'm used to. I think we just kind of came to a mutual agreement that we're going to part as far as me with the show. I also do have some other things I'm working on that I've been ramping up in some of the other things that I do. My work is really never done a lot of the time. And I think, probably replacing me with someone who's a little bit more segmented to the community that the channel is kind of destined for is I think a better option. So I want to thank Rob, Flup, Jacob, Kanish, Moretto, everybody that allowed me the opportunity to do the show for a couple of months here. And especially I think another thing that we have to kind of talk about too is we always thought that the Spaces drama would kind of die out. We're kind of getting to that point. I won't say that I was liaison between the two, but I definitely did offer a bit of a side thing. And I just feel like maybe I'm better outfitted for other types of content as opposed to this one. So someone will take my place. I'm sure that guy that put that comment earlier will be very happy. To anyone that came over and checked out the show, I hope you continue to check it out. I mean, you know where to find me if you need me. And, I wish everybody the best. And, I thank them for the opportunity.
Well, we really thank you and all the time and dedication you have put into the show, helping grow the channel, helping grow the brand. We wish you good luck. I'm sure I speak for all of us and say wish you good luck in all your future projects. So thank you again to do. Much appreciated. But that'll come to the end of the show. A new seat to be filled for next week. Who is going to be the person that steps in? You can comment your guesses and perhaps your suggestions in the comment section down below. While you're there, make sure you do smash that like button. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Last week, we hit 19,000 subscribers on this channel. We want to keep driving forward. We want to get to 20,000 and beyond. Support the channel, and we'll give you some great content in return. We'll see you again next time.